How would you react if every deceptive lie on the earth was suddenly exposed right before your eyes? Could you move forward if you finally knew? The world you live in and the skies above were nothing like they ever taught you in your schools? Would you like to truly know the real reason you really are here? What if someone could tell you the hidden secrets to everything that you've ever wondered about? Would you give yourself a chance to listen? Or would you choose to ignore the most remarkable possibility in your life? Can the impossible dream actually be overcome? Yes, it can, and let's prove that right now. As you know, there are always hidden threats to the human race, and those whom hold the highest positions on the earth, well, they be deeply fearing this reality. What be even more troubling is that an unexpected threat of the past has returned. This will affect every man, woman, and child, which is why children as well need to see this. So for the benefit of children, I be trying to speak in a manner that they can also grasp. Speaking of children, you be one right now, or at the very least, you're a child trapped in an older body. You have read enough make-believe fairy tales and novels. You have seen enough cartoons and movies, entertaining you with pretend characters. You spend 8 hours a day attending a school or a job, being a robot for teachers, or putting on an act for customers. The game of make-believe, pretending and acting, it be coming to an end for you real soon. Everything on the earth has a beginning and an end. A long time ago, a promise was made, and this promise is being fulfilled right now and ends an old agreement. What you'll see in this video is all truth, and anyone can verify everything in this video to be true and accurate. This is our private talk. This is between just you and I. You best not be letting others interrupt our conversation. This is the most important day of your life. Yesterday now be just a memory. Tomorrow never arrives, so it is always today. So truthfully, today is always the most important day of your life. Your life evaporates into a memory every single second. And just as I said this, the you that just existed 1 second ago just became a memory. Like a dream, you can instantly vision being a child again, just as quickly as you can remember me say, your life evaporates every single second. Your last second just became part of a lifetime of memories. Your whole life has built a mountain of memories, based on a mystery of deceit. You are in a real-life fairy tale called the Earth. And it all starts with just a single lie. And when the lie spreads and other humans add their own twist to the tale, they create a mountain of lies. This mountain of fantasies and illusions became your fairy tale. These mountains exist throughout the earth, and your whole life is slowly ticked away, second by second, in a real-life fairy tale. And in reality, every fairy tale has to have an end. You have spent enough time going to sports games, going to a movie theater or a concert, paying to watch other human beings live out their dreams. It is time for you to experience your own dream in the same amount of time. The greatest dream for anyone is to break free and experience something sensational and new. Every human desires to be part of an exciting journey while remaining safe and secure from harm. I will give this to you in exchange for happiness. I never want to meet any of you, or to attend your social gatherings and functions. I want no followers, no friends, no associates, no money, nothing from any of you. I want absolutely nothing from any single person. All I seek in return is to taste happiness one last single time. And we all know that the greatest drug addiction on the face of the earth, it'd be happiness. We all be addicted to happiness. You go to bed desiring it, you wake up desiring it, you desire it throughout the day, and you use whatever means you can to fulfill your addiction to happiness. Since my time on this earth is now short, I'm fulfilling an old promise in exchange for my own addiction to happiness. And it is worth more than all of the gold and diamonds on the earth. I guarantee it. Before we begin, I need you to do something for yourself. Make sure there will be no interruptions. If you truly believe you deserve all the truth, then make sure you are not going to be disrupted. Then prepare to witness the magic of all knowledge within this earth unfold right before your eyes. And feel free to pause this video as often as you wish or as often as you need. For those who are already feeling a sense of disinterest, I'd be asking you to stop watching right now. And of course, if you are with others, there will be a division. Let those who don't want to watch this video leave right now. Do not try to convince them to stay. You do not want any interruptions. So feel free to pause this video until your full attention is ready, and then we will begin. As we begin, I need you to realize right now, every one of you will be shocked by what you are about to witness. All of you. The true secrets hidden from the human race has never before been presented to give this clear and full of a picture. However, by the end, every single one of you, including children, you will finally understand the magic behind a miracle. You be that miracle. Yes, you were once a baby, but before that, you were once smaller than a grain of sand. You are that living proof of a miracle. I will reveal to you the true secrets of your skies, your world, and your human race. But before we can get there, we need to get you back to the very basics. So let's begin with children. The most innocent child yields more power than the world's richest man. A child has not yet learned the lies and the rules that govern the human species. A child has not yet been taught the religions, the laws, and teachings of this world. So human concepts are introduced to children at early ages. Whether the concepts be right or wrong, truthful or lies, the child will learn to believe in what they are taught. And a child learns quickly because they remain silent and they listen. So whether you be an adult or a child, the true power of a child is always within you. So listen up, kids. We will start the video slow to let you warm up before we rev this engine full throttle. So why do humans lie? The answer is fear. As young children, you learn to lie to your parents, teachers, and peers to avoid being punished. Can you blame children for lying? Of course not. As adults, you continue to lie. You lie to other adults and even to your own children. You really cannot blame others for lying. You do it yourself. Children naturally lie on instinct. They instinctively recognize the nature of their own species. Humans are harsh with their judgments of another. So lying becomes an everyday part of life. Right through adulthood, everyone lies, including you. Everyone participates in lying to one another, and every single one of you has a desire to fulfill. You know this. Every human has an agenda, and their agenda is always themselves. The human you will be most attached to in this life is the one that you go to bed with and wake up to every day since your birth. You. Truly, the greatest love a human can find within the earth is found in a mirror. Humans all lie for self-protection or personal gain. And it is this basic nature that has guided the whole human race to accept a mass deception. This is not your fault. It is your basic instinct to protect yourself from harm and to survive. It is inherited in the human design from the very earliest moment, being born into the human world. Right upon birth, it is instinctive of the newborn baby to consume of another human from the breast of a mother, and it never stops. To survive, you must consume from the elements which the earth provides. Food, liquid, and air, you must consume. Animals, fish, and birds, you will consume. Fruits, vegetables, and minerals, you will consume. Humans also consume from one another in forms of emotions, money, sex, learning, communication, and materials. This is not your fault. It is your design. Your human design is animated as an extension of the earth itself. This means the body you have right now is only part of a design that belongs to the earth itself. Just as leaves belong to a branch, and the branches belong to the tree. However, the deeply rooted tree, along with all the branches and leaves, they belong to the earth itself. Your body belongs to the earth. You are made from the earth itself. You must consume from the design of the earth. This inherited need to consume is why the human race always has, and still does, remain in conflict. To take from another human to better your own life leads quite naturally to conflict. No human enjoys being on the losing side of a deal. As some humans progress with more, and others digress with less, conflict naturally arises. Those who have more do not trust those with less, and those with less do not trust those with more. The basic nature of a human is to consume for survival, and to lie for self-protection or personal gain. This naturally forces human beings to not trust each other, which is all a part of the recipe for conflict. Have you ever wondered why you get angry with even your family and friends? It is by design, and the reason for this lies directly below your feet. Do not take for granted the physical world you see around you. You see televisions, cars, phones, homes, and buildings. Take a good look at the clothing you wear right now. And yes, even your human body. Everything you see has miraculously come out of the magical treasure chest. And that chest exists in the soils below your feet. The magic within the soils is what creates and sustains your physical world. Your body is formed from the earth, and your body is rooted to the earth by a magnetic force called gravity. Within the soils, you will find every element that makes plastic, cement, and metal for creations within the physical world. The earth provides soil extensions, which magically produce the proteins needed to create the bodies for all life forms on the earth. From inside the womb of your mother, you began as an invisible atom of air. You created your human body from nothingness, using proteins and nutrients your mother consumed from the earth. The fruits and vegetables came from the trees and the stalks, which are extensions from the soils of the earth. The meats your mother consumed came from animals, which also formed their own being by consuming herbs and blades of grass from the earth. All life forms are living extensions of the earth, and your emotions and natures, they be inherited from your parents. The actions of a child are the responsibility of a parent, and assuredly the parent to all life forms inside the earth be the earth itself. Just as it is nature to consume from the earth and of each other, so does the earth consume your energy in return. The earth maintains a self-sustaining environment, balanced by positive and negative energy. Every battery or electrical outlet distributes positive and negative energy. You can find the non-physical current of positive energy in the sunlight and the airs you breathe. You can find the physical current of negative energy in the extensions from the soils. Your human body is a creation of positive and negative energy, and your negative charged emotions are natural for you as a child of your parent that you be calling the earth. Children fight and argue as much as adults. Children do become jealous or envious of their brothers and sisters. Children do resent their parents for making rules. The true emotions of a child are not their fault. Their natural feelings are inherited. Even as an adult, you still continue to experience negative charged emotions throughout your adulthood. It is by natural design that humans do not trust each other and point out the offenses committed by another. You inherited this nature from your parent, named the Earth. You need to be reminded of the very basic natures of every human being. Only by accepting the basic truth will you be prepared to see what I'm about to show you. You will be ready to understand how a whole world can be deceived, and why so much of what you hear is a handful of truth mixed in with 2 handfuls of lies. Only by accepting the truth that lying is natural will you be able to see the full picture. Then you will be ready to accept a gift that is out of this world. When you can predict basic human nature, you can also predict behavior. The behavior of the human species is a natural basic instinct, inherited from planet Earth. And the Earth has a moody personality, which is why every human inherits the nature of pride in their design. The desire to be feared, respected, or desirable, it is a natural instinct of the human design. And every human likes to pretend and play kings and queens in a simple game called make-believe. All children and adults desire to be special. It begins as little boys pretending to be the heroes they see in the movie theaters, sports arenas, and television sets. And little girls instinctively want to be seen as beautiful and desirable, just like their heroines. And this is another basic instinct that fuels more conflict. The natural desire to be the best, respected, or be desirable. This be paving the road to jealousy and more conflict. No human likes being less than another, and no human takes well to seeing another get something they wanted. Jealousy is inherent in the design of the human being. After all, jealousy is a reaction to feeling disrespected. All humans desire to be respected, and this causes all human beings to perform like actors and actresses. You are always pretending to be another version of yourself. One minute you behave as a parent or a child, or as a brother or a sister, as a co-worker, as a friend or a neighbor. You pretend to be who you need to be around different humans. This is a part of your natural design. It is human nature to change your personality depending on who you are communicating with. And this nature instinctively begins at childhood. It begins very early, with young boys and girls playing their games of make-believe in the playgrounds. Children pretend to be doctors and nurses, cowboys and Indians, cops and robbers, and a list of labels goes on and on. The same children grow up and continue playing their game of make-believe in everyday affairs. The game of make-believe is all around you. You are surrounded by adults pretending to be a this or a that, be it a lawyer, a doctor, a mechanic, a yoga instructor, or as a this or a that. The adults are no more the labels that they pretend to be, no more than the children in the playground. It is all part of an illusion called make-believe. Humans attach labels to their daily activities, believing their employment or activities, they define their being. This is merely the extension of an illusion, which began in the playground. Children pretend to be something else all the time. Then as adults, they continue to play make-believe in courthouses, government departments, companies, and schools, and the list of labels goes on and on. Humans always put on an act, pretending to be the neighbor, or an employee, or a police officer, or a parent, or an entertainer, and the list of roles goes on and on. Every human puts on an act when they go to school or to work. This game of illusions is part of life on the earth. It is a basic nature for humans to give life to these illusions. It is now time for you to see the full extent of the illusions and the lies surrounding you. You once again recognize the basic natures of human beings. You are now prepared to witness the most shocking evidence of a worldwide deception ever imagined. And after I present you the evidence, you will realize that almost everything you were taught from childhood was based on a lie. I warn you, what you are about to see and hear is going to change your views of this world for the rest of your life. Many humans rent a place to live. Some mortgage a home to live. But the home exists on land which remains property of a government. And the government is a property of whom? Well, I guess it is time to pull the curtain and meet your landlords. You are not alone, and you never have been. In fact, you exist on their property, according to their claims. From your landlord's perspective, they were here first. And secondly, the human race is filled with too much conflict to handle their own affairs. Humans attack their own species. They argue in their own homes. And they give each other attitudes on the roads. The fact there is wars and rumors of wars confirm this epidemic is a worldwide reality. Your landlords are not going to give human beings access to their own dwellings without a fight, simply because your landlords know that fighting and consuming resources is basic human nature. So to protect their own kind, they right from the beginning introduced the human race to a system called self-governance. Self-governance is a structure of institutions and concepts that rule the masses, and to keep the attention of the human race focused on the human race. Your landlords are no worse nor better than the human race. They are just wise to the nature of the human race. And it is them who introduced the institutions of illusions to the human race. The landlords know the basic nature of human hypocrisy. They know how quick humans are to judge one another with negative consequences, while also finding an excuse to justify their own offenses. They are wise to keep their own locations a secret and secure from the human expansion. They have seen throughout history how expansion to another continent always includes war. So your landlords introduced a system to keep humans focused on fighting one another rather than fighting them. The platform for self-governance is based on one serious deception. The deception is simple. Humans are not self-governing. They believe they are self-governing, but they are not. A long time ago, the landlords of the earth appointed select humans and guided them to achieve the development of the system, right from the beginning. They still continue to keep close ties to those who finance and manage governments across the earth. They are the founders of the platform of deception, and the human race is guilty of adding every brick on top of the base platform. The human race has unknowingly helped build and design the pyramid of deceit. If something begins as a lie, then every action to confirm the lie adds to the lie, until the whole of the lie is too overwhelming to challenge. If you create a system built on lies, and every human contributes and participates within the system, you create a system that rules the human race by deception. If just one human in a high position desires to promote a lie, he can simply direct humans in the government and the media to promote the lies, and they become the tools. The tools in turn spread the lie to a mass audience, whom in turn also tell others about the lie, becoming the fools for the tools. The lies start from the top and roll down to the bottom, all too quickly and all too easily. Every one of you participate as co-creators of this system, and not one of you has the time to understand the system that rules you, because you are too busy trying to make a living to survive. Every human being is concerned about money. You all want money. The need for money rules individuals, families, and countries. However, currency itself was born out of a deception that fuels another worldwide conflict. I am making this simple for even children to understand. The platform for money works quite simply. Humans consume resources of the earth to survive. And sometimes humans have resources that other humans do not. So a system to exchange resources is created from the soils below. You take a piece of metal, form a circle and imprint a number, and you have created a coin. You also take a sliver of tree bark, add some fancy colors, and imprint a number, and you have created paper money. You introduce this new system of coins and money to a community. You are the inventor, and you want some royalties in return for those using your invention. So you loan out your coins and money to the community, and in return, you get a compensation or royalty called interest. To make this real simple, you set the interest at 10%. So for every $10 loaned out, you earn $1 in return. Here is the lie that forms the trick. You never physically create the coins or paper money that you are asking for as a royalty in return. The coins and money to pay back the interest are never created and do not physically exist. This makes it impossible for the humans receiving the loan to pay back both the loan and the impossible interest. At the end of the year, you call in the humans to pay back the loans and the interest. Some come back paying only the interest, but the debt of the loan still remains. Some come back paying only a portion of the loan, but not the interest. The real secret is that they have to compete with one another to get out of debt. And in this process, some win and some lose, creating more disparity and conflict amongst one another. And this interest game continues with compounding interest. For children, I am saying that the human who loaned the coins and money calculates what is owed in interest, and then they add a late payment penalty or an additional royalty as a punishment for not magically paying back money that does not physically exist. And this means they add more interest to the original interest that was already impossible to pay back. This compounding interest inevitably grows larger than the original debt that was loaned out. This means that all of the resources now belong to the inventor of money, not to the masses of humans who brought the resources into the economy. This is how it began, and this is how governments were formed from the beginning. And this is how all governments are financed even today, under a fraudulent currency system. Now you know why the government in your country is always in debt. Now you need to know who they are always in debt with. Over 4,500 years ago, in the city of Athens, Greece, it was documented that all of the interest rates, the debts, the deficits of the days, it destroyed the free farmers' markets. Even more recently, less than 100 years ago, in the 1930s, there was a time of Great Depression, affecting almost every human in every country on the earth. All of the human communities were devastated over a banking battle between a few men. And when individuals, families, companies, and governments become so deeply in debt to the financer, they only have one option left: to seek more loans by promising more resources. And to accomplish this, they need to seek more resources from beyond their own lands. And the end game of this impossible money system ultimately leads to the finance of wars, all in the name of interest and royalties. Royalty is not just a term for money, but it is also a term used for humans. Those who were called kings in the days of ancient past were no different than those who pretend to rule today. Those who pretend to govern any country have always been governed by those whom govern the money game. And those whom govern the government refer to themselves as royalty. Now you will see how the royalty illusion really works. When two or more countries go to war, take a guess who will pay the debt and interest to the financiers of the war. The humans from the losing countries get to pay the debt for both sides to the royalty of the winning country, under the guise of another make-believe concept called taxation. The taxes deducted from every human is truly a royalty payment to your enemies to fund their control over you. It is that simple. Western countries are unaware that their taxes at the end of the year are sent to the British monarchy of the United Kingdom. These are royalty payments to those humans putting on a make-believe act as British royalty. And for the record, A long time ago, the Roman Empire overtook Britain, now known as the United Kingdom. So guess where the taxes collected in the United Kingdom are sent? Vatican City. The Vatican is a modern-day confirmation that the Roman Empire is alive and well. Get ready to witness a major worldwide deception fall apart right before your eyes right now. The evidence will leave you breathless. You thought religion was boring? You are going to have a change of heart in less than 5 minutes. I am not going to preach, but I will present some evidence that will leave you speechless. Quite obviously, there are almost 4 billion Catholics, Christians, Jehovah's Witnesses, and Islamic followers. So if I lie just once, I am caught red-handed. There are billions of copies of Bibles and Qurans circulating throughout the world. So the evidence I provide right now can also be quickly confirmed by any one of you at any time. Over half of the human population follows one of 2 religions, namely the Bible and the Quran. Ironically, the humans who follow either religion remain in conflict with each other, when in fact they share the same faith in the same Lord. Can I quickly prove the Lord of the Bible is also the same Lord of the Quran? The answer is yes. Can I also quickly prove the same Lord of these 2 religions is also the so-called devil? The answer is yes. The evidence is hidden in plain sight. I will start off with a few verses offering obvious hints from the Bible. You can verify these verses from the King James Bible. It is the oldest Bible on record, where all other versions stem from. I know that none of us want to hear a sermon, so I will quickly give you a few hints before I give you the clincher that confirms everything. Yes, it all ties in together. Here is a hint found in the book of Exodus, chapter 32, verses 9 through 12. Word for word, in the verse it goes just like this. Wherefore should the Egyptians speak and say, for mischief did he bring them out to slay them in the mountains, and to consume them from the face of the earth. Turn from thy fierce wrath, and repent of this evil against thy people. You just heard it. Moses was asking the Lord to repent of his evil against the Hebrews. Another hint is found in the book of Numbers, chapter 21, verses 6 through 9, word for word. And the Lord sent fiery serpents among the people, and they bit the people, and much people of Israel died. Therefore the people came to Moses and said, We have sinned, for we have spoken against the Lord and against thee. Pray unto the Lord that he take away the serpents from us. And Moses prayed for the people. Then the Lord said unto Moses, Make thee a fiery serpent, and set it upon a pole. And it shall come to pass that everyone that is bitten when he looketh upon it shall live. And Moses made a serpent of brass, and put it on a pole. And it came to pass that if a serpent had bitten any man, when he beheld the serpent of brass, he lived. You heard it right. The Lord of the Bible sent fiery serpents out to kill the Hebrews, and then commanded Moses to make a bronze serpent. So is the Lord and devil in the Bible the same being? The answer is yes. And here are 2 undisputable clinchers. as written in the second book of Chronicles, chapter 36, verse 23. Thus saith Cyrus, king of Persia, all the kingdoms of the earth hath the Lord God of heaven given me. However, in the New Testament, the only figure to offer all the kingdoms of the earth had a different name, as written in the book of Matthew, chapter 4, verse 8. Again, the devil taketh Jesus up to an exceedingly high mountain, and showeth him all the kingdoms of the world, and the glory of them, and saith unto him, all these things will I give thee, if thou wilt fall down and worship me. Now comes the undisputable clincher. This is where the name of the biblical Lord is actually revealed. If two reporters write about the same war, you get a confirmation of both the same event and the names of the same characters. And as you are about to witness, the two writers indeed give the same details of the same event regarding the conversation between David and the Lord of Israel. In the second book of Samuel, chapter 24, verse 1, the writer states, and again the anger of the Lord was kindled against Israel, and he moved David against them to say, go number Israel. Another writer reports the exact same events with the exact same characters, but identifies the name of the Lord speaking with David, as it is written in the first book of Chronicles, chapter 21, verse 1. The writer states, and Satan stood up against Israel and provoked David to go number Israel. You can verify this in any of the King James Bibles very quickly. The name of the biblical Lord is Satan. I assure you, assuredly, the worldwide deceptions do not stop here. I am not going to give nor accept any interpretations to what you just witnessed with your own eyes. An interpretation is an opinion inspired by an agenda. So do not listen to another who tries to mislead you by interpreting for a Lord. Now you will quickly see how the same Lord in the Bible extended a similar religious system into Islam. There are references to over 50 people and events from the Bible found in the Quran. The Quran cites hundreds of verses that are direct references to the Bible, and so many verses reaffirm the importance of Abraham in the Bible. This is because the Quran was a well-devised plan for a religious extension of the Bible. And it is by no coincidence that both the Jews and the Muslims have such a deep-rooted attachment to the Dome of the Rock in Israel. Is it a coincidence that this sentimental location reflects two religious icons from both the Bible and the Quran? Or is it all a part of the master plan? After all, Allah is the best of planners, as it states clearly in chapter 8, verse 30 of the Quran, word for word. And remember, O Muhammad, when those who disbelieved plotted against you to restrain you or kill you or evict you, but they plan and Allah plans, and Allah is the best of planners. Here are a few hints to quickly confirm that Allah is the same being as the Lord in the Bible, and we just found out the real identity of the Lord in the Bible. The Lord of both religions makes the exact same claims. Unfortunately, if both lords were really different beings, there would be a legal battle on who owns the heavens above, as written in the Quran, chapter 21, verse 33. And it is Allah who created the night and the day, and the sun and the moon. Well, ironically, the Lord of the Bible also makes the exact same claim in the first chapter of Genesis. In only the second chapter of the Genesis, the Lord of the Bible confirms He made the heavens and the earth in 6 days and then rests on the seventh day. Ironically, in the Quran, chapter 7, verse 54, it says, "Your Lord is Allah, who created the heavens and the earth in 6 days, and then set Himself firmly on the throne." And the verse also just stated that Allah has a throne, which is reconfirmed once again in the Quran, chapter 23, verse 116, where it states, "So exalted be Allah, the true King. None has the right to be worshipped but He, Lord of the supreme throne." Ironically, the Lord of the Bible has a throne as well. As written in the first book of Kings, chapter 22, verse 19, word for word, "And he said, Hear thou therefore the word of the Lord. I saw the Lord sitting on his throne, and all the host of heaven standing by him on his right hand and on his left." And reconfirmed once again in the book of Isaiah, chapter 6, verse 1. "In the year that King Uzziah died, I saw also the Lord sitting upon a throne, high and lifted up, and his train filled the temple." So far, both lords make the same claim to have created the lighted heavens above within 6 days. And both lords have a throne. The same lords also have the same mentality, where both lords claim to blind those humans who do not believe in them. As you can see word for word in the Quran, chapter 2, verses 18 and 19. Their example is that of one who kindled a fire, but when it illuminated what was around them, Allah took away their light and left them in darkness so they could not see. Deaf, dumb, and blind, so they will not return to the right path. And as mirrored in the Bible, in the second book of Corinthians, chapter 4, verse 4, it reads word for word, "In whom the God of this world hath blinded the minds of them which believe not, lest the light of the glorious gospel of Christ, who is the image of God, should shine unto them." I will give one last obvious comparison before I give you the obvious clincher, that both beings portrayed as the Lord in both religions have the exact same mentality and are the exact same being. As can also be seen, neither Lord is too keen on letting human beings worship the heavens above, that they both claim that they have created. As written in the Quran, chapter 41, verse 37, written word for word, "And his signs are the night and day, and the sun and moon. Do not prostrate to the sun or to the moon, but prostrate to Allah, who created them, if it should be Him that you worship." The Lord of the Bible also commands the humans not to worship the heavenly bodies above, but to just worship the biblical Lord, as written in the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 17, verses 2 and 3. Now for the clincher, they be one and the same. It was just identified the Lord of the Bible is named Satan, and a clincher that Allah and the Lord of the Bible are one and the same is right here. In the Bible's book of Revelations, chapter 19, verse 16, it says, "And he hath on his vesture and on his thigh a name written, King of Kings and Lord of Lords." This verse about King of Kings is a reference to a man defeating the devil in war. And ironically, in the Quran, Lord Allah does not look forward to seeing those exact same words either. As written in book 73, number 224 of the Quran, it says, "The apostle of Allah said, The most awful name in Allah's sight on the day of resurrection will be that of a man calling himself Malik al-Amlak, or in English terms, King of Kings." The Lord of the major religions is the same devil by their own admissions. You all lie to one another every day. So does it really surprise you that a worldwide deception could be organized? Assuredly. Assuredly the lords of both major religions are one and the same being. And in fact, they play the make-believe lords in all world religions. And the evidence that these landlords still exist today will be seen very soon. These beings were, and still are, your landlords this very minute. Every human on Earth today is unknowingly a participant in their pyramid of deceptions. Every institution, including schools, adopt and promote the governing rules in blind acceptance of what is taught from the top all the way down to the bottom. The lies always begin at the top and filter their way down through the masses. The best time to introduce humans to a system of obedience and trust for the make-believe labels of authority is right at the beginning with children. The humans in the fields of teaching survive on an income like the rest, and they follow the rules, as do the rest. And they teach what they are told to teach. No different than preachers in a church. They are all trained on how to teach. Everyone participates in a system of lies. Everyone follows the agenda of a company or institute in exchange for the security of income. This is the truth, and you know it. Those who have the most to lose will be the first to fight this video. Those who survive comfortably under the income of this system will deny this video. Those who over the years have become comfortably hypnotized to the trance of lies and religion will deny this video. In simple words, although the system is based on deceptions and injustices, there are still too many humans who will fight to protect the system of lies. The guards of a prison will fight to protect a prison of sorrows. That also keeps them trapped as an inmate. They will fight to maintain order inside a dungeon of deceit in exchange for perceived sense of comfort and security. The human psyche is sensitive. No human is ready to allow their belief system that keeps them happy just crash and burn. Denial is also an inherited basic nature for self-protection. As a human being, it is a natural instinct to lie for self-protection. So expect no less from your landlords. Although billions of Bibles and Qurans were published with the truth in the text, a worldwide deception still exists under the umbrella of controlled institutions. The height of the mass worldwide deception still gets sky high. Get ready for the ultimate thrill ride. No human has ever seen this coming until right now. When one witnesses a miracle every moment of the day, it is no longer sensational, it is science. And suddenly the magical becomes mundane. You have taken for granted that every living life form inside the earth created their body from the magical elements below your feet. You began your life journey as a mere speck of air, and you fail to appreciate the miracle that looks back at you in the mirror. If a species such as the human race fails to recognize an obvious miracle, how easy is it to fool such a species on a grand scale? The answer, as you just learned, is very easily. You believe the stars, the moon and sun are all part of a divine cosmos, a solar system within a galaxy of countless galaxies which form a universe. This is what you have been told in your schools. This is what you see in your movie theaters. You were deceived. The sun, moon, and stars you see by day and by night do not exist in outer space. They exist within the airs of this world. Every secret of the skies above exists within the earth itself. And now you are about to witness the impossible become possible. You are surrounded by invisible spheres everywhere right at this moment. And they are just as small as an atom, and some are as large as the earth itself. Human eyes rarely see them, but under the right angles, the right temperatures, and the right degree of lighting, they have been seen on rare occasions. And children are the lucky ones who see the magic of the spheres throughout the summer months in their own backyards. Do you remember the fun you had as a child just blowing bubbles from a bubble wand or running through a sprinkler? When you blew a simple bubble from a bubble wand, you would see the skin of the bubble produced colors, just like a rainbow. When you jumped through a water sprinkler, you could see a small rainbow effect in the waters jetting out of the sprinkler. And on rainy days, you see an array of colors in very large bubbles called rainbows. From an atom to a rainbow, and as large as the earth itself, the whole of this world is surrounded by transparent spheres, both small and large. And it is these invisible spheres that are responsible for all of your visual perceptions within the earth. To understand the spheres better, just visualize 4 glass soup bowls being covered by just one larger glass soup bowl. Then visualize 4 sets of the large bowls, each with 4 small bowls underneath, now being covered under another even bigger glass soup bowl. Then keep repeating this process until the last glass soup bowl is the size of the earth. The term mirage says it all. Take a ride on a ferry across the sea, and under the right lighting you might see a curious image. Above the horizon of the waters, you might see reflections of a land above water, even when there is really nothing there. This is a reflection from within the spheres, and as you get closer, the reflection disappears. One term for this mirage is nicknamed a fatamorgana. These mirages can be seen on land, sea, or even in the desert, with or without the assistance of binoculars. When you use binoculars at a sporting event, you can increase or decrease the magnification of the players by adjusting the lenses. And the spheres that surround your world can do the same. And in fact, they do so daily. You have seen this lens effect of the spheres magnify the image of the sun and moon every single day. This will help you to finally understand what your top scholars refer to as the sun and moon illusion. The moon and the sun seem so large as they rise, and as they set. Yet they get so much smaller when they are high up in the airs. The spheres magnify the sun and the moon at low altitudes, and then do the opposite as the sun and the moon reach higher altitudes. This visual perception is created by the invisible spheres that surround you. These spheres can also be seen in the form of sun halos and moon halos. And ironically, the halos which are seen forming around the sun and the moon are always measured to be identically 22 degrees in appearance. The ultimate evidence that confirms you are surrounded by spheres is called the triple sun effect. The triple sun effect, or sundog, is seen as an illusion of 3 suns appearing within the arc of a sphere. This same effect occurs with the moon, and is also named a moondog. Only the spheres that are seen in rainbows, halos, and sundogs explain the reason why the sun and moon become larger or smaller, or why mirages occur on land and sea. There is a reason the secret of the spheres has been hidden from the human race all along. and that is to maintain a worldwide deception that goes sky high. It is time for you to discover the secret behind the grand design of this grand illusion. The words I speak in the next 3 minutes are going to shock you to the core. In only 3 minutes from now, you are going to know the greatest deception ever created on Earth since the foundation of Earth's creation. And you're going to know that the greatest secret ever hidden from you was you. Listen up. There are 3 fields that form the Earth. The ground surface is the lowest field, where the magic of the physical world is animated into existence. The second field is found in the mid-level, where clouds transit through the skies every day. The midfield is charged by energy, which in turn is redistributed to the field below. In simple terms, weather conditions, activities, and patterns are all influenced by the conditions at ground level, and vice versa. The field where clouds exist also acts as a mediator between the field below and the highest field above. You have wrongfully been trained to believe the highest field is called outer space. The highest field exists within the Earth, not beyond the Earth. The highest field above distributes the light to the midfield, which in turn redistributes the light as energy to the lowest field on the surface. The 3 fields all bind together, and what binds them together into one ecosystem is the magic of the spheres. Spheres from small to large are all connected with one another, and they transfer information instantly. You know this to be true. You can see the evidence every day on wireless laptops and television screens. You can hear the evidence every day on your radios and cell phones. All of these devices instantly receive and transfer both sounds and images through the interconnected spheres that make up the airs you breathe. The secret of all visual and sound perceptions you experience while awake or while you're dreaming is found in the spheres. Just as the Internet of the Earth can instantly display movies on your television screens and computer screens, so does the Internet of the Earth instantly display dreams to you in your sleep. The fields above and below are bound to one another by design. So the dream world is mirrored by the physical world. As it was once stated in the Bible in the book of Matthew, chapter 18, verse 18, "Whatsoever ye shall bind on earth shall be bound in heaven, and whatsoever ye shall loose on earth shall be loosened in heaven." The earth is a biodome. It is a creatively designed ecosystem where every atom is used and recycled to maintain the continuation of physical life. So the atoms that exist within the earth to form your body are the same atoms that form a loaf of bread. They are redistributed into a shared environment. You can literally say your body and the bread are as one. You are the energy that fuels existence within this earth, and energy itself is born from light. The true source of energy that lights up the earth is found in the highest field above. The highest field above traps and redistributes light to the fields below. The trap above uses light to energize the lights you see in the skies above. The trap you were taught to believe was a universe is truly a field of pure dark energy that traps light energy. And you best be believing in the trap of dark energy above. After all, it trapped you. You are that light energy, and you will know this very soon. Your true being is not the short-lived, aging body you created from just an atom. Your true being is the light energy that energizes this earth. This is the reason why the lords of religions were so insistent that the humans would not worship the lights of the heavens. This is why you are told the skies are a vast universe of nothing, but darkness and mystery. The greatest worldwide deception is about you. The greatest secret on this earth is you. You are that secret. And keeping you hypnotized to a trance of lies was the greatest deception ever invented. Your human body is composed of the earth, but the true you that created and animates your human body now is light energy. The real you is animating your human body from the energy fields above the surface. This might sound like a fairy tale, but the fairy tales were real, and so is this message. You exist in a realm ruled by dark energy that traps light energy under a dark blanket of deception. You give life to the earth as well as the human body you believe to be you. The time to break free comes soon, after this current life is over. Speaking figuratively, you have just experienced a ride on a roller coaster, so to speak. You have reached the top, and now you can see what is down below. To protect your human psyche from the fear of crashing, I will bring you back to the ground gently, so to speak. Everything you have just learned is absolutely overwhelming for you, but now it is all about to finally make sense to you, once and for all. You exist in a realm that hypnotizes you upon entry to accept this world as the only place of existence you can imagine. You coexist with other beings of light energy, who as well are in a trance of accepting human concepts, rituals, and games of make-believe. Every one of you is attached to the environments of your human bodies and the human world. In order for me to break the spell of hell, so to speak, I need to show you just how the terrarium called Earth is designed to operate just like clockwork. The world you exist in is 100% obviously a designed environment. Just as the clock has gears, so does the Earth have spheres. This environment you exist in is a creation, and nothing is created without a purpose. So ask yourself, what is the true purpose of the Earth? Why was this place developed? And who or what created this realm? Your answer is you're speechless. That answer comes at the end of this video. I will now prove to you how the Earth is truly designed. Your maps are wrong. Your globes are wrong. And your awareness of portals that connect the Earth to other worlds, or even the world below, needs to be understood. I will pull back the curtains so you can see the lizards pretending to be wizards. And yes, I was being sarcastic. So you have been told your world is a round globe. And from this illusion, scholars calculate the world is spinning at over 1,000 miles per hour. As I said earlier, the base platform is a deception. So all of the other bricks of information added will create the pyramid of lies. It is the spheres within the Earth that create the visual perception that even little towns seemed curved in appearance. Naturally, the higher one gets into the airs above, the same spheres will continue to create the same curved illusion. The Earth's surface is a flat parallel field within a sphere. It is not a globe. Only in a world of deceit can an organized plan to keep the masses of humans oblivious to the obvious occur. For children's sake, the word oblivious means unaware. The globe illusion is impossible. The oceans would never hold together no more than the buildings on land. The gravity theory is nonsense. The gravity required to hold the waters of the oceans in place would also pull every boat, big and small, to the core below instantly. And as for a spinning globe revolving over 1,000 miles per hour, ridiculous. A simple jump from a parachute out of a plane confirms the lie. Parachuting is regulated by designated drop zones, which could not be achieved if the Earth was spinning around over 1,000 miles per hour, The human parachuting would end up in another town completely, far from the designated airport structure they are regulated to land in. The ground level surface of the Earth is a flat parallel field. The midfield of energy distribution where the clouds travel also runs parallel, and so does the highest field where all light is distributed also run parallel. Recognizing the flatness of these three parallel fields, as well as the perceptions of curvature created by the spheres, will help you to now see how the Earth is truly designed as a dome, from top to bottom. Now this is going to excite you, so let's start at the top. I will concentrate on just giving you evidence that the skies you see high above exist within the Earth, and are not beyond the Earth. From here you will see the highest field, the midfield, and low field. They are all part of one intricate design, just like clockwork. Many humans watch the sun and the moon rise from the east, and then go north, and then settle to the west. However, some humans get to watch the sun or the moon rise from the east, and then go to the south, before finally settling in the west. Your visual perception of whether the sun and the moon transits to the north or to the south all depends on what side of the Earth you live in. Furthermore, depending on what side of the Earth you are in, the craters of the so-called moon are upside down in comparison to what the humans see on the opposite side of the Earth. Now you are about to completely understand why. The moon and sun spheres generally travel down the center of the highest field. For easier understanding, to make what you are hearing crystal clear, the spheres of the moon and the sun travel down the center of a grid. To understand the design of the skies above, you will need to recognize it is patterned along a grid system. Then the secret veil of the skies magically unfold before your eyes. The grid of the skies is evident in the fact the positions of the moon, sun, or stars can be predicted daily, monthly, and yearly. They all follow a pattern just like clockwork. And this also confirms the highest field above is a creation by design within the Earth itself. Theories of cosmic coincidences between the sun and the moon working together perfectly in outer space, all due to a cosmic fluke, is just plain ridiculous. Every human can plainly see the evidence of the clockwork in the sun and the moon spheres. The two spheres follow a perfect design along a grid system within the Earth twice a year. The absolute evidence that the sun and the moon are part of a grid system is confirmed in two seasonal solstices, which occur on the first day of summer and the first day of winter. And what is a solstice? It is a reference to the sun, basically meaning the longest or shortest day of sunshine in the year. The sun sphere repeats the same pattern over and over again, every year after year, just like clockwork. Have you ever heard of polar days and polar nights? They only occur in the so-called north or south polar circles. Hence they are named polar days and polar nights. Simply put, a polar night of all-day darkness lasts up to 1 month for a city, and a polar day of all-day sunlight lasts in a city for up to 2 months or more, every year. Coincidentally, the polar day, also called the midnight sun event, happens in the North Pole only during the summer solstice, while to the opposite, the polar day occurs in the south only during the winter solstice, just like clockwork. I do not want to confuse children here, so I need to make this simpler. What was just explained is that the exact same polar event occurs on opposite sides of the world during opposite solstice seasons, just like clockwork. And finally, both polar regions of the Earth experience their solstices at the same time, but the seasons are completely opposite. The North Pole experiences the summer solstice during the summer, and the winter solstice during the winter. However, it is the total opposite for the South Pole, as the summer solstice occurs during the winter, and the winter solstice occurs during the summer, just like clockwork. The moon reaches a high and low level in the skies every 2 weeks, and the moon also reaches its highest position within the year during the winter solstice, while reaching its lowest position of the year during the summer solstice. However, the sun only reaches a high and low level during the two solstices. The sun and the moon follow a formula that is perfectly connected with the formula of the earth, just like clockwork. Now I'll make this as simple as possible for you to understand the next evidence of clockwork and design along a grid system, known as a solar eclipse. Since the event called a lunar eclipse has nothing to do with the sun, I will focus only on the solar eclipse. The so-called lunar event, where the moon seems to glow red, occurs for the same reason the moon can turn harvest gold, or why the clouds in the sky sometimes appear red. It is an atmospheric reflection, no different than the rainbow. As for partial or full solar eclipses, they can generally be predicted long in advance, which again confirms a pattern of design. This confirms the spheres of the sun and the moon both crisscross along the center of a grid system within the Earth itself. When the sun crisscrosses the center of the grid to the north or south, this also creates the yearly solstices and polar days. And as they crisscross along the center, the sphere of the moon sometimes overlaps the sphere of the sun, just like clockwork. Ironically, the sphere of the sun never overlaps the sphere of the moon, and for a damn good reason. If the sun did overlap the moon, a great deception would be revealed when humans could still see the moon craters within the sun. They would know the sun is hollow. The reason for polar days and nights, as well as solstices and eclipses, are all due to the crisscross pattern of the sun traveling across the center grid. The Earth is not a spinning globe tilted on an axis of roughly 23 degrees, but in fact the grid way above is positioned 23 degrees off the center of what is referred to as the equator. The clockwork of the sun and the moon prove the high field above exists within the Earth itself. It is the spheres within the Earth that give the visual perception of the sun and the moon rising or setting along the low points of the arc within the spheres. Prolonged film exposure of the starry constellations above as well today reveals another big secret and confirmation that the lights above do exist within the Earth. When stars are filmed over long periods of time, the amazing pattern you will see is a sphere, as though they exist inside of a dome. These pictures, termed star trails, confirm the design of the Earth is a composition of invisible spheres creating the lenses of perception, and also confirm the stars in the sky follow a perfect pattern, as do the sun and the moon, just like clockwork. And this leads to the secret of the magic mirror down the center of the grid in the highest field above, which creates the best illusions of refraction inside the Earth, including twinkling little stars. For children, refraction simply means a redirection of light, to keep it simple. The sun and moon refractions are also part of a mirror maze. To help you visualize a simple illusion, I want you to visualize a maze of mirrors in a gymnasium. Every mirror is positioned at slight angles so a light can rebound from mirror to mirror throughout the gymnasium. Switch on the flashlight and every other human in the gymnasium wrongly assumes the mirror in front of them is the true source of the light reflecting towards them. Now you have a mirror maze. Now watch this hidden secret of the magic mirror unfold before your eyes. The star constellations from both sides of the poles both revolve around a central star. In simple terms, the clusters of star constellations in the south revolve in their own circular pattern, and the clusters of star constellations to the north also revolve in their own circular pattern. They both mirror the same exact pattern. For those of you who have seen the wonders of the auroras in the skies, here is a real mirror trick you didn't know existed. Only recently did some human beings researching the auroras from the North Pole and the South Pole discover an amazing secret. The aurora phenomenon is a mirrored event from both the South Pole and the North Pole at the same time. The secret is found high above along the center of the grid, where a reflective atmosphere creates this mirror effect. Some humans have recorded the dancing aurora lights, but some humans have recorded a true refraction mirage of the skies. Under the right lighting and angles, some humans have managed to record the clouds floating behind the sun or the moon. And this is caused by the interaction of the invisible spheres that connect between the midfield of the clouds and the high field above. You see refraction in spheres when you look at a rainbow. Sometimes you see rainbow halos around lakes, or in the steam of the airs above, which is today termed as a glory halo. The magic of the spheres within the airs you breathe exist everywhere, in all sizes. And this is why humans sometimes find an array of little orbs in their pictures. The lights transiting along the grid in the highest field above are not always where or as large as you believe them to be. And you can prove this by simply taking a picture of a full moon or a supermoon. The moon will come out very small in the picture. This once again confirms the so-called sun and moon illusions are truly a result of the spheres within the earth causing the magnifications of your depth perceptions. The final evidence that the spheres of the sun and the moon exist within the highest field of the earth itself is proven by exposing an obvious lie. The main belief is that the moon receives and reflects light from the sun in outer space. We'll say goodbye to that ridiculous theory once and for all. The moon is seen in the nightly skies for half of the month, but it is also seen in the blue skies of the day for half of the month. During the daytime, when the moon is seen parallel to the sun, it is still in a crescent. Since the sun and the moon are both round, then obviously the whole full moon would be fully lit by the direct exposure of the fully round sun. But it is not. The crescent moon has its own source of light, and that light is generated within the Earth's high field. Game over. And for any human wondering about planets, that concept, as well as a major part of the pyramid of deception. I will tell you what the so-called planets really are, and it should be obvious with the recent images of what is called Saturn. The hexagon of Saturn is also similar to the less advanced high-atmosphere telescopes built by humans today. What human beings are really seeing from behind the telescopes is ancient satellite systems, and this is why they move independently of the sun, the moon, and the stars. These ancient satellites have been camouflaging themselves in the highest field as bright stars throughout history. Even the moon, as it is called, is part of a deception for these satellite systems. The reflection of the moon is a magnification of another satellite system. Those who have carefully studied the sphere of the moon have seen various reflection anomalies. They term them as transient lunar phenomena. The human race has also positioned their own technologies in the sky that are also reflective. And ironically, those are also called satellites. It is well known that the only lights high above that can form crescents are what you call planets and the moon. The size of the moon satellite is a perception based on a deception called magnification. Although a small satellite is being magnified into the sphere, magnifying the satellite as the moon, it is the sphere that is doing the magnification which is truly hollow. After all, if the moon was a physical object, it would have as much chance of disappearing one day per month as a building in your downtown cities. A simple way to learn how the crescents form and how the moon magically disappears is to find a glass ball, then tint half black and leave the other half transparent. Then place a plate inside on spindles so the plate does not move, and start spinning the glass ball. And of course, you make sure you have a light inside the base, so the plate is illuminated. You will see the moon effect in action on your new lunar alarm clock. You really need to hear this. The spheres of the moon, the sun, as well as the stars along the grid are all part of a holographic grid system. A holograph is a hollow design that is encoded along a grid and then formed by light. No space research center has a chance of sending humans to land on the hollow sphere of the moon any more than they have a chance of landing a human on a sundog, a moon halo, or a rainbow. Like any device, a hologram is a design that is controlled from the base. So you can expect that the controls for everything above exist deep below the surface. You have finally begun to realize the Earth is actually a biodome. So have you ever wondered why religious buildings and government structures seem to be built underneath a dome? This next bit of evidence will give verification that the landlords from below can manipulate the spheres within the hologram you see in the skies above. You will see that the landlords from below are very concerned about human exploration. First, a little bit about how human scientists are learning the knowledge of ancient past far exceeds the knowledge of today. Your ancient landlords were right all along. I know you thought I was done with religion, but the surprises are still yet to come. Under a year ago, a representative employed within the best-known American Space Research Center claimed they had made a remarkable discovery. They discovered a new impenetrable field in the airs high above. The key word is impenetrable. They have named this mystery field the New Van Allen Radiation Belt. And furthermore, the representative of this center claims space exploration is impossible until they solve this new mystery field. More of their representatives also made another discovery that was a complete shock to the whole system, and it is being withheld from the masses. When their shuttles reach a certain height, the unthinkable happens. The sun and stars completely disappear. There is a total blackout of immense darkness. Maybe I could tell them why. Their scientists confirmed these discoveries publicly in 2012. And although tens of thousands of humans seen the reports have slowly disappeared. Maybe the concern was based on the fraud about the moon landing, or the false space telescope images of planets and galaxies being exposed. Maybe they could tell you why. Maybe the landlord of the Quran could tell them why. As the book clearly stated, their awareness of the Earth's sky design almost 1,500 years ago. As written in the Quran, chapter 21, verse 32, we made the sky a preserved and protected roof, yet still they turn away from our signs. And also as written in the Quran, chapter 55, verse 33, O company of jinn and mankind, if you are able to pass beyond the regions of the heavens and the earth, then pass. You will not pass except by the authority from Allah. The landlords of religions are also recorded to have tampered with the sun and the moon on numerous occasions. It is claimed that the landlord of the Quran split the moon before his servant Muhammad. The landlord of the Bible is also claimed to have controlled the sun and the moon before the masses, as written in the book of Joshua, chapter 10, verse 13. And the sun stood still, and the moon stayed until the people had avenged themselves upon their enemies. Is it not written in the book of Jasher? So the sun stood still in the midst of heaven, and hasted not to go down about a whole day. Although these events of the past were a long time ago, the landlords once again confirmed their control over the sun sphere less than 100 years ago. The event was named the Miracle of the Sun, which occurred in Fatima, Portugal, on the date of October 13th, 1917. It was estimated that up to 100,000 people witnessed the Miracle of the Sun, which is the equivalent of 2 full-house football stadiums side by side. Tens of thousands confirmed this event. It was no hallucination. The next bit of information is amazing evidence that the miracle events of ancient past have also occurred recently within this generation. And no worries, I will give the religious notes a long break very soon. However, they are needed to see the events of the past were real, and how real this is affecting everyone today. What should concern every human being inside the earth are the promises made in the ancient past with regards to current days, which is coming out right now. Some cute words from the biblical book of Ezekiel, chapter 32, verses 7 and 8. And when I shall put thee out, I will cover the heaven and make the stars thereof dark. I will cover the sun with a cloud, and the moon shall not give her light. All the bright lights of heaven will I make dark over thee, and set darkness upon the land, saith the Lord God. And this is repeated in the book of Matthew, chapter 24, verse 29. Immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of the heavens shall be shaken. And this is also a final prophecy for the end of days, as written in the book of the Revelation, chapter 2, verse 23. And the city had no need of the sun, neither of the moon to shine in it, for the glory of God did lighten it. What exactly is the glory of the Lord that lightens the city of New Jerusalem in the Revelation? A few hints are given in the biblical Old Testament, as written in the book of the Exodus, chapter 24, verse 17. And the sight of the glory of the Lord was like a devouring fire on the top of the mount in the eyes of the children of Israel. Also reconfirmed, as written in the book of Leviticus, chapter 9, verses 23 and 24. And Moses and Aaron went into the tabernacle of the congregation, and came out, and they blessed the people. And the glory of the Lord appeared unto all the people, and there came a fire out from before the Lord, and consumed upon the altar the burnt offering and the fat, which when all the people saw, they shouted and fell on their faces. The glory of the Lord is described as a fire, and here are a few hints that lead directly to where the fire still exists, as it is written in the book of Isaiah, chapter 31, verse 9. And he shall pass over to his stronghold for fear, and his princes shall be afraid of the ensign, saith the Lord, whose fire is in Zion, and his furnace in Jerusalem. As it is also written in the first book of Kings, chapter 11, verses 31 and 32. And he said to Jeroboam, Take thee 10 pieces, for thus saith the Lord, the God of Israel, Behold, I will rend the kingdom out of the hand of Solomon, and will give 10 tribes to thee. But he shall have 1 tribe for my servant David's sake, and for Jerusalem's sake, the city which I have chosen out of all of the tribes of Israel. This is where it gets really interesting. As it is written in the book of Isaiah, chapter 60, verse 12, "For the nation or kingdom that will not serve you, Jerusalem, will perish. It will be utterly ruined." And one last time in the second book of Kings, chapter 19, verses 34 and 35, "For I will defend this city Jerusalem, to save it for mine own sake and for my servant David's sake. And it came to pass that night that the angel of the Lord went out, and smote in the camp of the Syrians 185,000. And when they arose early in the morning, behold, they were all dead corpses." The city of Jerusalem still today seems to be under the secure protection of the landlords. The 6-day Miracle War of 1967, as well as the Yom Kippur War of 1973, was evidence enough to know the landlords still protect their furnace in Jerusalem, so to speak. It was called the Miracle 6-Day War after a surprise attack from 4 nations came together against Israel unannounced, and an unforeseen attack was miraculously thwarted by a still unknown ally of Jerusalem. If you ever wondered why the country you exist in today seems to be unified with Israel or in fearful conflict with Israel, what you just heard will confirm these reasons. And of course, the glory, the fire, and the furnace of the landlords in Jerusalem still gets a little bit hotter than you think. You are about to be blown away with what you see next in just 1 minute of time. Listen to this. As it was written in the book of Zechariah, chapter 14, verse 12, "And this shall be the plague wherewith the Lord will smite all the people that have fought against Jerusalem. Their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet, and their eyes shall consume away in their holes, and their tongue shall consume away in their mouth." If you understood this correctly, this is a statement that humans' flesh will burn away, and their eyes will burn away from their sockets, and tongues will burn away in their mouths. This was written thousands of years ago. This is a confirmation of nuclear devastation. This might have sounded crazy thousands of years ago, but today it can be done. And the build-up to this grand event has been taking place since the early 1960s. Over 50 years ago, the development of the Negev Nuclear Research Center was implemented. The facility was designed to manufacture nuclear weapons, and it still does. The location of the facility is privately in the Negev Desert, just outside of Dimona. And Dimona is just outside of, you guessed it, Jerusalem. Now you might realize what may have been motivating the surprise attack against Israel back in 1967. Do not miss part 2 of this message. You have now seen and heard what you may have never known about inside of your own world. In part 2, everything comes together in a manner that gives you the final answer to what you've always been waiting for. I will guarantee it. Part 2 reveals the answer that has been hidden from the human race and even their landlords since the foundation of Earth's creation.